Breaking news. What just happened at the Las Vegas Raiders will leave everyone speechless. And you'll find out before anyone else. But before I reveal this bombshell, I need your help. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, if you haven't already, you'll be helping our work a lot. We're close to our goal of 1,000 subscribers this month, and with your support, we'll be able to reach that goal. This also ensures that you don't miss any news about the Raiders, with always first-hand updates on every move the team makes. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to this big news. With the NFL draft approaching, the Las Vegas Raiders face a big question. Should they bolster their secondary or invest in other positions? While names like Ashton Jeanty, Teteroa McMillan and LSU's Will Campbell are on the radar, one Pro Football Focus analyst believes ignoring the defense would be a serious mistake. Bradley Locker, in his analysis of the worst-case scenarios for each team in the draft, pointed out that the Raiders can't afford to neglect their secondary, even after the additions of Jeremy Chinn, Lonnie Johnson Jr. and Eric Stokes. The Raiders made a splash in the offseason by signing Geno Smith and retaining Malcolm Kuntz. They'll likely look to add more on offense, but defense against the passing game remains a real concern, Locker noted. And he has a point. Despite the additions of Chinn, PFF grade 65.2, and Stokes, coverage grade 62.4, both are still volatile pieces and don't guarantee immediate solidity. Plus, Las Vegas needs to replace Nate Hobbs on the inside. In other words, for new general manager John Spytek, bolstering the secondary should be a priority in the early rounds, even if there's a temptation to draft a high-level offensive talent. But who would be the ideal name? If the idea is to invest heavily in the position at the number 6 pick, Michigan's Will Johnson may be the only viable option. One of the most highly touted defensive backs last year, he saw his value drop after the combine, but he still has attributes that the NFL covets. Lance Zierlein of NFL.com remains optimistic about Johnson. Teams love big, fluid cornerbacks with ball production, and Johnson delivers exactly that. He's instinctive, has good body control, and can read and anticipate routes at a high level. However, he'll need to adjust his aggressive mindset in coverage to avoid being exploited by NFL receivers. The question is it worth spending a high pick on him? This year's draft is loaded with talented cornerbacks and safeties, so the Raiders could wait and still get a good name on day 2. Given that scenario, the best strategy may be simple. Take the best player available, regardless of position. Does this mean Las Vegas is willing to take a risk on defense? Or will the franchise try to balance need with value? The answer won't come until April, but one thing is certain: ignoring the secondary could be a costly mistake in the future. The Las Vegas Raiders entered the offseason with plenty of offensive holes to fill, but so far, the moves have been questionable, to say the least. While other teams have bolstered their rosters with top-tier talent, the Raiders have made few significant additions, most notably the signing of veteran running back Raheem Mostert, a veteran who is well past his prime. And that doesn't bode well for new quarterback Geno Smith. The team's wide receiver group remains a bit of a mystery. Jacoby Myers may be a reliable target, but he's not a true WR1, and the lack of depth on the roster only adds to the concerns. The team has tried to bolster that position by targeting big names like DK Metcalf, T. Higgins and Chris Godwin, but they've failed to land any of them. With free agency well underway, the options available are becoming increasingly scarce. However, there's still one big name on the market who could be the solution for the Raiders: Tyler Lockett. The former Seattle Seahawks wide receiver was named by USA Today's Corey Woodruff as the best option for Las Vegas at this point. Lockett could join coach Pete Carroll and quarterback Geno Smith in Las Vegas, as they both know how dangerous he can be even at this point in his career, Woodruff noted. Familiarity is key here. New Raiders head coach Pete Carroll knows Lockett like few others, having been his coach in Seattle for years. Additionally, Geno Smith has worked with the receiver over the past 3 seasons, creating a chemistry that could be valuable for an offense in dire need of consistency. While Lockett is no longer the player who had 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons from 2019 to 2022, he can still offer experience and production. Last season, he recorded 49 receptions for 600 yards and a pair of touchdowns, serving as the Seahawks' third-string receiver behind Jackson Smith-Njigba and DK Metcalf. At 32, there's no denying that Lockett is in a bit of a decline, but given the Raiders' current situation, he could be the best piece available to bolster their offense ahead of the NFL draft. While Las Vegas is likely to look for a young wide receiver in the draft, bringing in a veteran like Lockett could be a smart move to give their offense more security and options. Now, it remains to be seen whether the Raiders will act before another team snaps up one of the last big names in free agency. The Raiders desperately need more talent in their receiving core, and Tyler Lockett could be a valuable piece to give their offense more options. He already has a good rapport with Geno Smith and is familiar with Coach Pete Carroll's style. But at 32, can he still deliver at a high level? Should the Raiders sign Lockett? Yes or leave your opinion in the comments. See you soon.